this announcement is basically kind of official, or I would say third-party confirmation of what we've been actually communicating to the market, that this government is stable, this government is really keen on bringing in foreign investment into the country.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Farhad Abbasov. He is the chairman of Millennial Potash. And Farhad, it's good to see you. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you, Steve. Good to see you as well.
Yeah, so some really interesting news out from the company talking not really about the Banyan Potash project as a whole, but more so about what's surrounding it. And I'm talking about sort of the political side of things because there's been some challenges for sure. So why don't we start there? Maybe take us a step back here and talk to us about leading up to this deal that was announced by the U.S. government.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. So look, I mean, just to give you a first kind of an update on that particular news. So the United States government and the government of Gabon just met. Actually, His Excellency Gabonese president visited Washington, D.C. So they had a very important announcement about strategic cooperation between the U.S. and Gabon. And this pretty, I would say, all-encompassing, very comprehensive strategic partnership or cooperation. And just to give you a little bit of a context why this is important, and I'll describe, what that partnership actually means and what it implies for us as well. You remember, we talked about last year, but last August there was a change of government in Gabon, and the family that had run Gabon for almost 56 years was replaced by this new government, and with the current president, who's a transitional president, so he's really leading the transitional government right now. And there were a lot of questions about, the stability in the country, especially as far as foreign direct investment is concerned. Of course, our project being in Gabon, our potash project, and we being a Canadian company, a lot of our investors asked those questions. So at that time, we obviously met with all the key new ministers, including ministers of mines, of environment, of economic development, and so forth. And I personally met with the new president, His Excellency, last December during COP28. And we had a very open discussion about his vision for the country, specifically for the mining sector, and of course for our project. And after that meeting, I came out very impressed, very much impressed, not only by his vision, but also his support for our project specifically. And we kind of conveyed and communicated that message to all our investors and beyond, that this government is actually very keen, very focused on attracting more foreign direct investment into the country and fostering the ones or supporting the ones that are already in the country. So yeah, this announcement is basically kind of official, or I would say third-party confirmation of what we've been actually communicating to the market, that this government is stable, this government is really keen on bringing in foreign investment into the country.
Yeah, and this government, you mentioned a transition government, but that transition is really about increasing the economic opportunities within Gabon, and more importantly, revolutionizing agriculture across Africa, which is obviously substantial in what you're doing as well. When I was reading a bit about some of the things that His Excellency was talking about, this is really moving it in a huge and very positive direction.
Yes, Steve. So if you look at this announcement, it covers quite a few things. So basically all the areas, this is political cooperation, specifically assistance from the U.S. to Gabon to kind of democratically transition to the next stage. But also there is a lot of economic support. There's even defense cooperation in terms of infrastructure, security, and so forth. Now, specifically, as far as we're concerned, there is a lot of talk about agriculture and infrastructure support as well. And that is very important because basically the U.S. government is now directing its major development arms, specifically Development Finance Corporation out of the U.S., as well as USAID, to continue assisting and investing in Gabon. And that is very important, Steve, because these organizations specifically, and some others out of the U.S., these agencies have that mandate to help foster economic growth, and specifically in the areas in Gabon that actually need a lot of economic development. In the south where we are, it is one of the least developed parts of the country, and potash straddles two sectors, right? We're both agriculture and in mining, and that is very important as well. So this was an important kind of confirmation, as I said, of what we've been communicating to the market, that the Western countries, specifically the U.S., They really support this government because they see how open-minded they are. But also, I think it sends a right message to our investors in terms of the support that we're getting from the government for our project specifically. Because think about it this way, Steve. One thing is, the chairman of Millennial Potash goes out and tells people that, the government is supportive and so forth. The other thing we hear from the U.S. government that Gabon is really eager to support such projects as ours. So that is kind of a confirmation again of the Gabonese government's vision and strategy. And as far as we're concerned at this point, there are specific things where we're getting support from the Gabonese government, on the ground. And one is, of course, infrastructure development. That is a port development. There are 2 ports that we'll have access to. One is being built as we speak, which is very important. And the other one will be expanded in the next couple of years. Again, we'll have access to that port down the road as well.
Yeah, so the U.S. and Gabon, 64 years of diplomatic relations and heading in a new and obviously positive direction as well. Farhad, thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Thank you very much, Steve.
There's Farhad Abbasov. He is the chairman of Millennial Potash.